has fast data transfer and is easy to access to share resources. Infrastructure is the router, the switch, firewall, wireless access points, and Ethernet cables. The router connects different networks and sends data to the correct location using an IP address. The IP address is the equivalent to your physical home address where you live. So every device on Earth has an IP address. Well, not every device on Earth, but everything that is connected to the internet has an IP address. The IP address is like your physical government address. So it's the place where the information knows, okay, I'm going to knock on this door. I'm going to go to this house. The information does not know where to go if it does not have an address. If you have mail coming to your house, like let's say a water bill, an electrical bill, and the company says, okay, we have set you up, we want to send you the bill now. Where do we send the bill? I don't live anywhere. You see? So every device that is connected to the internet, that uses the internet, has to have an address, because this is how the internet knows that data is coming from this address, or information is coming from this address, and then data is coming into this address. So we can send information back to them, right? We can send information back to these people, this person right here. So that is what an IP address is. Switches connect multiple devices within the same network and sends data only to the intended device. Firewalls protect the network by blocking unauthorized access and threats. Wireless access point allows devices to connect wirelessly using Wi-Fi. Ethernet cables provides fast and reliable wired connections between devices, which is a landline. Network protocols. Network protocols are rules that control how data is sent and received. Common examples: TCP, IP, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, DNS. These ensure data is transferred correctly and securely. Network security. Network security protects networks from hackers, data breaches, and other threats. So the threats could be external or internal. It could be, as I said before, a hacker from outside. It could be an issue on the inside, maybe a disgruntled employee, maybe someone that has an issue with the company, maybe they were supposed to be paid something and they weren't paid, so they decided that they were going to sell the data to a competitor. The job of security is to protect the data from all of these potential threats. Network management keeps the network running smoothly by monitoring performance, fixing network problems, planning for future growth. Now we're going to move on to servers and data centers. Servers and data centers are key parts of IT infrastructure. They provide storage, processing power, and services needed to run applications and manage data. Servers. Servers are powerful computers that provide services to other computers and devices on a network. They store data, run applications, and manage shared resources. Servers can be physical machines or virtual machines and are usually kept in data centers. Store and manage files so users can access and share data on a network. Web servers host websites and web applications and deliver web pages to users. And here we have a diagram of a database server. the client applications, the database, and database server. Store and manage databases, allowing data to be saved, searched, and updated. Application services. Run applications and provide services to users over a network. Mail services. Handle email services by sending, receiving, and storing messages. Key features of data centers. Temperature control keeps equipment from overheating and makes the equipment last longer. Backup power ensures systems stay online during power outages so there's no downtime. Back to downtime. Physical security uses cameras, access controls, and alarms to protect equipment from data theft. Why data centers are important: keeps IT systems reliable and available, protects data from damage and unauthorized access, supports a large amount of data and applications. So, data centers provide a secure, stable, and controlled environment for critical IT infrastructure. Centralized management, scalability and reliability, strong physical security, backup and disaster recovery, fast and reliable connectivity. Now for the questions. Which of the following is a hardware? Servers, routers, data management systems, peripheral devices. The answer is servers, routers, and peripheral devices. The second question. Attach the correct sentence to the word. Operating systems, applications, utilities, middleware, firmware. Now we move on to an overview of operating system, which is OS. We're going to be talking about different operating systems like Windows, Linux, Apple, Mac. These are different types of interfaces that is used to interact with different applications and so on. We talked about this earlier in the video, but these are just some of the three. There are dozens of them, right? There are dozens of them, but I wanted to touch on these three because they're the most popular, they're the most used. I use Windows and I use Linux. So an operating system, OS, is the main software that runs on a computer. It manages the computer's hardware and software and allows users and programs to work together safely and efficiently. The operating system acts as a middle layer between the users and the computer's hardware, making sure everything runs smoothly. So here's just a little layout for you. This is just everything we're going to talk about. Resource management controls how the CPU, memory, storage, and devices are shared between programs. Process management allows multiple programs to run at the same time without interfering with each other. Memory management manages computer memory, protects it from unauthorized access. File management organizes files, folders, so data can be stored, found, and backed up easily. Device management controls hardware devices like keyboard, mic, printer, so on. User interface provides ways to interact with computers such as GUI, graphic user interface, CLI, command line interface. Command line interface, that's where you type in a command based on the operating system. There's different commands that you can use based on the operating system. You can enter predetermined commands based on the system that to have it uh, do different things, like maybe delete delete a file or folder, to have it install software, to just do different things. But there's command lines that you can use. Linux mostly does this. Understand Windows operating system. Microsoft Windows is one of the most popular operating systems in the world, naturally, because it's very easy to use. It has evolved from Windows 1.0, never used that one before, I'm too young, to Windows 11, adding features to meet user needs. So I've only used Windows XP. Some people still use Windows XP because there's software that are still being used on Windows. They haven't been updated. Some factories still use them because the software for some of these things haven't been upgraded. So you might go somewhere or work somewhere that has like Windows XP or Vista or Windows 7, and you're like, why are they still using these very old operating systems? They're using them because the software that runs the computer, runs the driver, or the software that runs the printer, that runs the old machine outside, that runs the entire business, it hasn't been updated in a long time, and it's a very old machine. So if you're wondering why people still use old operating systems, that's why. Start mender, start menu and taskbar, quick access for to programs and files. That's at the bottom left corner. That's at the bottom, and the button is at the bottom left corner. Apple Store, access to wide range of applications and utilities. Self-explanatory. Integration, works well with other devices, cloud services, productivity. User-friendly, easy to use for both personal and professional. Windows helps users work efficiently, stay creative, and manage their devices easily. Understanding Windows operating system. Windows is a widely used operating system with user-friendly design and many features. So we're gonna be going on to Macs. This is Apple. Macs is just mainly Apple. I don't use Apple, so I don't like know much about Apple. I grew up not really using it, never cared to use it. Linux and Windows was already there, so I didn't care about it. But I did do research on it. Mac is the operating system for Apple Macs computers. Figures. It combines style, performance, and ease of use, making computers simple and easy to enjoy. Yeah, from what I've seen, people have found it easy. You know, people have found it easy to use. It's pretty okay. It takes like 2 seconds to understand how to navigate, and that's it. So it's not a hard computer to understand. User interface, docks for quick access to apps, Finder to browser and organizes files. Integration with Apple devices, works seamlessly with iPhone, iPad, and iCloud. Yeah, it does. It synchronizes very well. Syncs data, apps, and settings across devices. Yeah, which is why people love it sometimes. And they hype around it. Security, protects against malware and viruses. Figures features like gatekeeper and file vault encryption data. From what I've heard with the security,